She beat a Grand Slam champion. Then a tournament crashed trying to sell her tickets. A 21-year-old girl from Quezon City just did something no Filipino has ever done in the history of tennis. Not once, not in 100 years of the sport being played. And by the time you finish this video, you're going to understand why grown men who run multi-million-dollar tennis tournaments are standing in their own stadiums, staring at the crowd, completely speechless. This is the story of Alex Eala, and if you think you already know it, stay with me because what's happening right now in this exact moment is bigger than anything that's happened in women's tennis in years. Here's the thing nobody saw coming. 3 different tournaments, 3 different countries, 3 different tournament directors, and every single one of them has said, on the record, some version of the exact same sentence. We have never seen anything like this before. Not for Serena, not for Federer, not for Nadal. For a player who, 12 months ago, most casual tennis fans couldn't have picked out of a lineup. So how did we get here? How did one player from a country with almost no tennis infrastructure become the single biggest attraction on the entire WTA Tour? Stick around, because the answer involves a stunning upset on center court, a Monday afternoon that turned into one of the loudest matches anyone in Washington has ever witnessed, and a number out of Cincinnati that is about to make history all over again. Let's get into it. Quick ask before we start. If this is your first time here, or even if it's your 50th, do me a favor and hit subscribe before we go any further. This channel covers the stories in tennis that the mainstream coverage misses until it's too late. And trust me, you do not want to be the last person in your group chat to know what's coming for Alex Eala at the US Open. Alright, let's rewind to where this all really started. Center court, London. The match that changed everything. Every great sports story needs a moment where the world stops and pays attention. For Alexandra Eala, that moment came this July, on center court at Wimbledon, against the last woman on earth anyone expected her to beat. Eala walked into the tournament seated 29th. Respectable but nowhere near headline material. She'd already made history just by getting that seeding, the first Filipino ever to be seeded at a Grand Slam. But then the draw handed her defending champion Iga Swiatek in the 3rd round, and everyone assumed that would be the end of the run. It wasn't. Eala took Swiatek the distance in a first set that stretched past 80 minutes, saving 2 set points along the way before winning a tiebreak that went to extra points. Then she blew the 2nd set open, closing it out 6-2. Final score, 7-6, 6-2. Iga Swiatek, the defending Wimbledon champion, was out. Alexandra Eala, the 21-year-old from the Philippines, was into the 2nd week of a Grand Slam, something no Filipino player, man or woman, had ever done in the Open era. She dropped to the grass. She cried. And in her on-court interview, shaking, she said something that would end up defining the entire summer that followed. This was for every little girl back home who never thought someone who looked like them could stand on that court. Tennis legend Billie Jean King caught up with Eala not long after and posted publicly about how impressed she was, calling the run an inspiration to kids across the world. It was the kind of endorsement that money can't buy. Eala's Wimbledon run ended in the 4th round against Jasmine Paolini in a tight 3-setter. But it didn't matter. The story was already written. A new star had arrived. And nobody, not even Eala herself, had any idea what was about to happen next. Washington, the Monday that broke the mold. Fast forward a few weeks. The Mubadala DC Open. On paper, a solid but unspectacular stop on the American hardcourt swing. Eala arrived unseeded, which meant almost nobody outside the die-hard tennis community expected her to make noise in a draw that included Jessica Pegula, Naomi Osaka, Venus Williams, Madison Keys, and defending champion Leylah Fernandez. What happened instead was one of the most dominant title runs of the entire WTA season. Eala took down Alina Svitolina. She beat Naomi Osaka. She defeated the defending champion, Leylah Fernandez. And then, in the final, she faced the tournament's top seed and world number 3, Jessica Pegula. It did not start well. Eala dropped the first set 4-6. This was the moment where a lot of young players fold. Instead, she leveled the match at 6-4, and then, in front of a crowd that tournament director Mark Ein would later describe as maybe the greatest atmosphere anyone on tour had ever seen for a Monday final, she demolished Pegula 6-0 in the 3rd set. Wait, A Monday final? Yes. Rain had pushed the championship match to a rare Monday afternoon slot, the kind of scheduling quirk that usually kills attendance. Instead, the stadium at the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center was, in Ein's own words, packed to the rafters. Fans were waving Philippine flags of every size. Ein later revealed that in the lead-up to the tournament, roughly 80% of every question his ticketing staff fielded was about one player, and it wasn't any of the Grand Slam champions in the draw. Even Pegula, on the losing end, publicly thanked the Filipino fans for what they were doing for the growth of the sport. It was Eala's first WTA Tour singles title. It made her the first Filipino, and the first Southeast Asian, ever to win a WTA-level singles title. And it rocketed her into a career-high ranking inside the world's top 20. But here's the part that should genuinely give you chills. Washington wasn't even the peak. It was just the warm-up. Toronto, when a stadium becomes a barangay. The Eala wave rolled straight north into Canada for the National Bank Open, a WTA 1000 event, a significantly bigger stage than Washington. And the Filipino-Canadian community, which numbers in the hundreds of thousands in the Toronto area, did not just show up. They took the tournament over. Tennis Canada's own senior director of ticket sales admitted he'd been watching the Eala phenomenon build for months, going back to a moment at the Australian Open earlier in the year when Eala was scheduled on a small outside court that held a few hundred people, and thousands of fans were left standing outside, unable to get in. He knew Toronto was going to be different. He just didn't know how different. Eala's Wednesday night session at Sobeys Stadium sold out completely. According to reporting at the time, the only other player believed to have produced a Wednesday night sellout at that venue in the past 20 years was Serena Williams. Read that again. Not Federer, not Nadal. Serena Williams, and now Alex Eala. She extended her winning streak to 7 matches across 2 tournaments, grinding through a tough 3-set battle against American Katie McNally along the way. Her run finally ended in the round of 16 against Belinda Bencic, who beat her 6-4, 6-0 in just 73 minutes. Eala's 9th match in 13 days once you count doubles. It was a reminder that even phenomenons get tired. But the crowds didn't care about the scoreline. They came for Eala, win or lose, every single time. And now, all of that energy, Wimbledon's history-making run, Washington's title, Toronto's sellout, was about to collide with the biggest hardcourt tournament in America before the US Open. Cincinnati was next. And Cincinnati was not ready. Cincinnati, a record built for breaking. Let's talk numbers for a second, because the numbers here are wild all on their own, before you even add Eala into the equation. Last year, in 2025, the Cincinnati Open set an all-time attendance record, 285,571 fans across the tournament, with ticket buyers coming in from all 50 states and 65 different countries. That was already the biggest crowd in the event's history, boosted by a brand new, $300 million campus expansion that doubled the size of the grounds. 13 of 16 sessions sold out. 9 session records were broken. Now Alex Eala is walking into that building for the very first time in her career, and she's not walking in as a wild card or a qualifier. She's walking in as the 17th seed. That is the highest seeding of her entire career at a WTA 1000 event, high enough to earn her a first-round bye, a privilege reserved for the top 32 players in the world. A year ago, she would have been grinding through qualifying just to get a spot in the main draw. Now the draw is built around her. Her opening match comes in the second round, against Romania's Elena Gabriela Ruse. And if she gets through that, her projected path is genuinely brutal. A potential run through Magda Linette, then Amanda Anisimova, then Linda Noskova before a possible quarterfinal collision with Jessica Pegula, the very player she beat in that unforgettable Washington final. Beyond that lie the likes of Iga Swiatek, Elena Rybakina, and world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. 5 Grand Slam champions, sitting on her side of the draw, before she even reaches a final. And here's why Ohio might be the loudest stop of them all. Roughly 17,000 Filipino-Americans call Ohio home. It's not the biggest Filipino population in the country. Toronto's community alone dwarfs it. But after Washington and Toronto, tournament staff in Mason, Ohio know exactly what's coming. If DC's ticketing team fielded a flood of Eala-driven inquiries for a WTA 500 event, and Toronto sold out a Wednesday night session for the first time since Serena Williams, nobody in Cincinnati is under any illusions about what a top 20, 17th-seeded Eala means for a tournament that just broke its own attendance record and is hungry to break it again. The numbers behind the movement. Step back from the crowds and the flags for a second, because what Eala has actually done on the court this year is just as remarkable as the reaction to it. She has been one of the most active players on the entire WTA Tour in 2026, playing deep into tournament after tournament with barely a break between stops. She now holds a winning record against top 10 opponents this season, a list that includes Jessica Pegula, Iga Swiatek, and Alina Svitolina. She's beaten Swiatek twice in her career now, once at the Miami Open and again at Wimbledon. A rivalry that's quickly becoming one of the most compelling storylines in the sport. Her ranking tells the same story. From outside the top 30 at the start of the grasscourt season to a career-high position inside the world's top 20 by the time Cincinnati rolled around. And she's doing all of this as a lefty, a style that legends like Martina Navratilova have publicly praised for being crafty and difficult to read. Off the court, the business world has taken notice just as fast as the tennis world. Eala signed a multi-year sponsorship deal with Wilson. Major shopping centers and restaurant chains across the Philippines have run entire marketing campaigns built around her image. When you win your first title against the world number 3 on national television, that kind of attention is inevitable. Why Cincinnati actually matters for New York. Here's the part that should really matter to you if you're planning on watching the US Open in a few weeks. Because Cincinnati isn't just another stop on the calendar for Eala. It's her final tune-up before the year's last Grand Slam. She's defending second-round ranking points from last year's US Open. On pure current form, a title, a Wimbledon 4th round, a WTA 1000 quarter run in the making. She is capable of doing a lot more than that this time. A deep run through a stacked Cincinnati draw, especially one loaded with the kind of top 10 scalps she's already collected this year, would hand her exactly the kind of momentum and confidence that turns a good Grand Slam campaign into a legendary one. And that's really the tension sitting underneath this entire story right now. Every tournament she plays adds another layer. Bigger crowds, tougher draws, higher seedings, heavier expectations. Cincinnati is set to test all of it at once, against the toughest field she's faced all summer, in front of what could be the loudest crowd Mason, Ohio has ever produced for a non-marquee match. She left home at 13 years old to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy, thousands of miles from her family, chasing a dream that most people around her probably thought was unrealistic for a country with almost no professional tennis pedigree. She's dealt with real setbacks along the way, fines, snubs, being overlooked for opportunities that seem to go to players with bigger names and bigger federations behind them. None of that stopped her. Now she's not the underdog walking into a tournament hoping to make a little noise. She's the player tournaments are quietly restructuring their ticketing plans around. She's the reason stadium staff in 3 different countries have all independently said some version of, "We've never seen this before." And in a matter of days, she'll walk out onto a Cincinnati court that's already broken its own attendance record once, in front of a Filipino community that has followed her from Washington to Toronto and is not about to stop now. Closing, don't miss what happens next. So here's where we leave it. Alex Eala, 17th seed, career high ranking, a win streak and comeback story stacked with Grand Slam scalps, walking into the toughest draw of her season with an entire diaspora behind her, and the US Open looming just weeks away. Whatever happens on that court in Mason, Ohio, this is a story that's only getting bigger from here. If you want to see how it plays out, the wins, the upsets, the moments the mainstream coverage always shows up a day late to, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because we are going to be covering every single step of this run all the way to New York. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Alex Eala is walking out of Cincinnati with a semifinal run? Or is this draw simply too loaded? Too soon? I'll see you in the next one.